Dear learners, welcome to the APIT course for Emerging Trends and Technologies in Library and Information Sciences at IIT Delhi. I am Dr. Priya Rai, Deputy Librarian and Head Justice TPS Chawla Library at National Law University, Delhi. Well, today we are going to discuss about open access to scholarly communication and open licensing. The agenda of the lecture is basic introduction of open access movement, key development in scholarly publishing, discussion on open access publishing and initiatives, copyright and licensing issues raised in relation to authors' rights. So, basically through this lecture we are going to discuss about the open access initiatives and open licensing model for open publishing. I would like to start with the quote of J. Robert Oppenheimer: "Open society, the unrestricted access to knowledge, the unplanned, uninhibited association of man for its furtherance, these are what may make a vast, complex, ever growing, ever changing, ever more specialized and expert technological world." Now, we will discuss about the key development in scholarly publishing. The growth of the publishing started quite early, but during the period 1945 to 1970, the post Second World War research funding dramatically increased and confirmed the role of commercial publishers as powerful actors in scientific publishing. The journal ranking and impact factor metrics introduced by the Science Citation Index during the period 1964. The print publishing and the cost of print journal subscription continued to rise during the periods of 1971 to 1995 over year and year, resulting in a serial price crisis. Academic publishers starting exploring pricing models for digital publishing. The University Licensing Project TULIP is established by Elsevier and 9 university libraries exploring digital publishing during the period 1991. The digital age emerged quite early, but during the period 1996 to 2004, Biomed Central explored a new pricing model called APC, Article Processing Charge, which charge author to enable free access to individual articles. Libraries are no longer purchasing tangible objects like books, journals and issues. They negotiate digital licensing to access online content. Budapest Open Access Initiative released a public statement of open access publishing during the period 2002. The open access movement begins in the era 2005 and continued to move forward. Publishers' business models evolve a response to demand for freely accessible research without barriers or the restrictions. Hybrid layover and new content licenses. The research ecosystem moves beyond open access to open science. 4 functions of publishing reorganized: registration, certification, dissemination, preservation came in 2012 when F1000 Research, Purj and eLife are launched. Now, we will discuss about the open access movement. Well, the main motive of open access movement is bridging the gap between the scholarly communication and the publishing. The open access movement in its diverse forms constitute the most interesting and promising model for the research output of an academic library or a university. Open access literature is digital, online, free of charge, free of most copyrighted and licensing restrictions. We all know the policy definition of open access. What it says: free availability and unrestricted use. The open access also removes the barrier of price and fee and permission barriers also. The open access to scholarly communications are connected to new technological based digital form of scholarly publishing, also compel with well established peer review process and maintain high pricing standards in open access journals. We all know the three important B's of open access initiatives. What they say: free, immediate, online, available, have a right to use and research articles. So, these three important B's of open access initiative are Budapest Open Access Initiative, Bethesda Statement on Open Access Publishing, and Berlin Declaration on Open Access to Knowledge in Science and Humanities. And they are in furtherance, there are many other initiatives which came year and after years. So, through this presentation and a slide, we can say I would like to share with you the scholarly innovation and research output in a commercial platform. This is an research iceberg and it mentions about the research output. Are they really accessible to all, or do we need to have an alternative methods of publishing which give more impact and more visibility to the research outcome? This is open access publishing. The main objective is bridging digital divide. The advent of technology has proliferated the heavy and incredible growth of scholarly research conducted at university and institutions around the world. The findings and the recommendations of the research outcomes generally published in a scholarly journals, we all know that, but the access to academic publishing are restricted to subscription of mode or subscription method. The research product is generally governed, funded, and the fruits are enjoyed by the private players. As the researchers publish and hand over their research outcomes without any expectations to the private publishers. To access the published work, the researchers again have to pay on aggregators to retrieve the academic content or purchase mode to retrieve the information. Well, the problem took a shape of international academic movement and proposed new models for the academic publishing, which is called the open access publishing. The principle of open access publishing are set out in Berlin Declaration in 2003. It emphasizes on free and open online access to academic information such as publications and research data, when anyone can read, download, copy, distribute, print or use it in education or another way within the legal agreements. The publication is called the open access and there is no financial, no legal and no technical barriers which came in. The recommendations of Budapest Open Access Declaration includes the use of liberal licensing. They mainly focused to use the liberal licensing mostly created by the Creative Commons and it is called the CC BY and is widely recognized in the community as a means to make work truly open access. Well, we all know different approaches of open access from traditional publishing to open access publishing. What it helps? It helps to make exposure of the work, it helps to researchers in developing countries can see your work, practitioner can apply their findings. Most important, the higher citation rate is there. Research can influence policy makers also, they can also use the research findings and taxpayers get value for their money and most importantly public can access your finding. This is the main importance of approaching or taking the alternative approach of publishing other than the traditional one. Well, we all know very well the roots of open access publishing. There are two main important routes of open access publishing. One is the green route and another is the gold route. Well, researchers they can decide to publish in an open access journal they wanted to publish or publish in a subscription based journal. Well, for open access journal we have two routes, gold route where as I already mentioned in my previous slide, pay article processing charges if required by the publisher have to be paid, and then it is immediately open access via the publisher's platform. The another important route is a green route, which search for the repositories like Open Door, SSRN. These are some of the disciplinary repositories where the researcher can make the self archive in repositories based on the publisher's policy, and immediately the, or sometime it takes time to open access depending on the publisher's policy. But in between these two green and gold route, there another important route which came an option is hybrid journal route, where subscription based journal that has pay open access options also, where the APC is important, if it is required, pay article processing charges and immediately open access via the publishers platforms are there. So, these are the two important routes of open access publishing which is commonly known. Now, the importance of open access is not for the researchers, it is really important to promote rule of law and access to justice. I would like to share the quote of George Bernard Shaw, where he has given very good example by saying that if you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange these apples, then you and I still each have one apple in our hand. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange this idea, then each one of us will have two ideas in our hand. So, this is what the main motive of open access, and Article 19 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights also states the same, that everyone has a right to freedom of opinion and expression. The right includes freedom to hold opinion without the interference and to seek, review and import information and idea through any media and regardless of the frontiers. So, they have given the some principle to strengthen the democracy of the information. So, these principles are maximum disclosure of the information, obligation to publish and disseminate, promotion of open government system, limited scope of exceptions and processes to facilitate access. So, these are the some of the democratic principle which is given to strengthen the information dissemination. So, this slide mainly explains about how open access information and the impact to individual and community. If the information is properly free flow made available to the individual and community, then what is the impact? The preamble of our constitution also guarantees social, economic and political justice, which is the main motive of the open access initiatives. There are many ways that librarians and other institutions can support open access, ranging from simply providing information to enacting open access policies and establishing institutional repositories, preparing guide to open access. We can encourage dialogue about open access through blogs and newspapers. We can hold open access week events to promote awareness. We can provide assistance in the conversation of institution based journals to open access journals. We can create our own institutional repository, we can establish it, and we can establish open access databases, which is really important nowadays. Negotiate open access agreement with the publishers and forming academic center devoted to scholarly publishing. This is the first most duty of a librarian's, promotion of open access. Now, let us discuss a very important segment of the presentation is copyright licensing and open licensing. So, let me start by explaining to all of you what is the copyright licensing and what is open licenses, and we will later on have a broad differences between both of them. Well, copyright play a very important and vital role in scholarly publishing world. It provides author with a set of rights and enable them to utilize their work and recognize as a creator of the work. It includes both moral right and economic rights. So, the now question comes, what is moral right and economic right of an author? Well, moral right relates to the right to claim authorship of the work, and the author has a right to object to any of the derogatory action in relation to their work. And economic right is totally related to the issue of ownership in use and reuse of the material. So, one of the most important features under the Berne Convention, the convention is meant for the protection of literary and artistic work in the year 1886. The convention said that the moral rights are not transferred even when the author transfer all its economic rights. So, the author will remain the moral rights on its hands. All the copyright is vested in the author, and author can grant all the rights that a publisher requires through licensing with copyright transfer as it is not necessary. So, there is one cartoon in the internet which I have taken for your use. Licensing: when the copyright owners give permission to a particular party to use the copyrighted work for the specific reasons, the license emerges and the girl is saying to the boy that you can use my song which she created is Oh Oh Ya Ya. That means she is transferring her copyright to the another person. Now, let us discuss about the types of digital copyright licensing. We will discuss in later slides also the types of open licensing, but before we will go to that slide, we should have a basic understanding about the digital copyright licenses. There are many types of digital copyright licenses. Some of them are I am presenting in this lecture. Expression written contractual licenses. An expression contract is an exchange of promises in which the term by which the parties agree to bind are decided either orally or in a written format or combination of both at the time it is made. The another important license under copyright law is shrink wrap license, is an end user agreement EULA it says, that is enclosed with the software in a plastic wrap packets. Once the end user opens the packaging, the EULA is considered to be effective. The click wrap license. The click wrap agreement is a type of contract that is widely used with the software licensing and online transaction in which the user must agree to the terms and conditions prior to the use of the product and the services. Now, the browse wrap license is also available. The term used in internet law to refer to the contract or license agreement covering access to or the use of material on websites or downloadable products. Implied license are really important licenses. It occurs when a person enters or uses the property of another with the expression or implied permission of the owner under the circumstances that would provide a good defense against the action for trespass. So, this implied license is important, and sometimes what happens, people give implied licenses without the knowledge. So, it is really very important to understand about this license. Now, let us discuss about the important topic which is open licenses. So, the principal mechanism for existing copyright and related rights is licensing. Digital technologies emerge new licensing models for scholarly publishing contracts to traditional practice in academia and scholarly publishing. It raises various important issues and concerns in relation to the transfer of rights from one author to publisher and bring new frontiers of licensing model in open publishing, which we will discuss in the later slides. So, we all know that in the copyright we all must have seen that word is written that all right reserved copyright, then a symbol of copyright is mentioned. What does it mean? It means that the text or the content is mine. I do not allow you to take this material and repurpose. You need to take my permission to use this. But on the contrary, the open license, what it says? It's mine. It says the same, it's mine. I do allow you to take this material and repurpose. Just remember to make proper attributions. You do not need to ask my permission to use this. This is the basic difference between the copyright and license and the open license. So, the question emerged is what is open licensing? Open licensing is a legal document that gives permission beyond the copyright laws. There is a very famous 5 R's of open licensing: retain, reuse, revise, redistribute and remix. So, retain means the right to make own and control copies of the content, whereas the reuse says the right to use the content in a wide ranges of ways, like we can use it in a classroom, in a study group, in a website, in a video, or revise means the right to adopt, adjust, modify or alter the content itself, that is translate the content to another language. The another important open license is says distribution, the right to share copies of the original content, your visions or your remix with others. For example, gave a copy of the content to your friend. The fifth one is remixed, the right to combine the original or revised content with other open content to create something new. For example, incorporating the content into a mashup. So, this all were about the open licensing, but one of the important questions which emerged after listening to all the slides and having discussions in the previous slides, that how open is your content. The license which author or you or me choose has a big impact on how our work will be shared and used. Now, we will discuss about the classification of open licenses. There are various forms of open licenses. Few of the open licenses which is really related to us, we are going to discuss. Free and open licenses are subset of public copyright licenses. They include free and open source software licenses and free content licenses. So, software licenses are different and content licenses are different. They are public domain licenses, permissive licenses, copyleft licenses, open data commons, open content licenses, open data licenses, open database licenses, open publication licenses, against digital right licenses DRM, and most important and frequently used license by the authors is the Creative Commons license, which we are going to discuss. So, what is public domain license? A public domain equivalent license is a license that grant public domain like rights or act as a waiver. They are used to make copyright work usable by anyone without conditions, while avoiding the complexities of attribution or license compatibility that occurs within the license. There are various examples, few of them I have mentioned in here are WTFPL license, CC0 license is there and unlicensed is there. So, the another important is against DMR 20 is a free copyleft license for artwork. It is the first free content license that contains a clause about related rights and the clause against digital right management. Then another important set of license is permissive software license and copyleft software licenses. Well, permissive software license called BSD like or BSD style license, a free software license which minimal requirement about how the software can be redistributed. Examples, we all know MIT licenses, BSD license and Apache license, we know Apple public source licenses are some of the example. Where the copyleft software licenses are basically they are pertaining to the softwares, is a type of license which are novel used for existing copyright law to ensure a work remains freely available. GNU General Public License is one of the important example of copyleft software license, and Creative Commons attributes also covers under the copyright software licenses like ShareAlike and Mozilla public licenses. Now, another important segment of a license is open content license. So, is a ShareAlike public copyright license by Open Content Project which came in 1998. The license can be applied to the work to make it open content. It is one of the earliest non-software free content license. Now, let us discuss about the another important segment of licenses which is open publication license. In short, it is called OPL. It was published by Open Content Project in 1999 as a public copyright license for documents, and it is considered as a first public copyright licenses intended for the content rather than the softwares. The ODBL Open Database License is a copyleft ShareAlike license agreements which allow users to freely share, modify and use a database while maintaining this same freedom for others. So, ODBL is published by Open Data Commons and Open Knowledge International. Another set of license is Open Data Commons. It is a set of legal tools to help you to provide the use open data. The goals of the open source data movement are similar to those of others open source movements such as open source software, hardware, open content, open education resources, open government, open knowledge, open access, open science and open web. Well, now discuss about the most important open license is a Creative Commons, which is widely used by the publishers also and by the authors as well. Well, Creative Commons is a non-profit organization that enables the sharing and the use of creativity and knowledge through free legal tools. So, CC movement is basically based on a very important notion is called some right reserved. It provides a balance between the creators and the consumers of intellectual property. Actually, the concept allows clear indication how work may be used, reused, distributed while ownership remains in the control of the authors and the copyright owners. There are various licenses covers under the Creative Commons, but we will discuss which are considered free. There are three important licenses which is considered to be free for Creative Commons: attribution by CC BY, attribution share like CC BY SA and Creative Commons 0, CC 0. So, attribution or CC BY is a license. It allows to copy, distribute, display and perform the work and make derivative work and remix based on it only if they give the author or licensor credit. Attribution we can say in a manner of specified by these. Another is CC BY SA. These license may be distributed derivatives work only under a license identical, not more restrictive to license that governs the original work. Without share like derivative work might be sub licensed with compatibility by more restrictive license clauses CC BY or CC BY-NC. Another important Creative Commons license is CC 0. CC 0 is a legal tool for waiving as many rights as legally possible, or when no legally possible, CC 0 acts as a fallback as a public domain equivalent licenses. So, these were some of the licenses which are available for free open access or free access of information, which gives lesser restrictions for further dissemination and reuse of the information. So, this slide explains you about some of the other license: copy and publish, attribution required, commercial use, modify and adopt on change license. They give certain rights, they are public domain, by attribution, by SA, by ND, no derivatives, by NC, no commercial, by NC SA, non-commercial, share alike and NC ND attribute, non-commercial, non-derivative. So, these are some of the common Creative Commons licenses which are being used. So, in the last I would like to share the quote of Janice Carlins: through open access, researchers and students from around the world gain increased access to knowledge, publications receive greater visibility and leadership and potential impact of research is high. Increased access to and the sharing of knowledge leads to opportunity for equitable economic and social development, intercultural dialogue and has the potential to speak innovations. Well, the role of the library professionals are not limited to creation of repositories only, but they have a greater responsibility to systematic dissemination of research scholarship available in number of open access initiatives around the world to support research and educational activities. Well, learners, while making this presentation we have used various resources and web links which we have mentioned in our reference section. And if you need to have any query related to the presentation and you need to ask anything, you can write on the discussion forum or you can write me at my email address priyarai@nludelhi.ac.in. Thank you so much. Hope the presentation or the lecture was useful for you. Thank you.